Hello, and thanks for joining the ASAP Executive Spotlight. As you guys know, I own an SAP focused search firm, and a lot of times our content is somehow, some way related to SAP. Today, Christine Aboud will be joining us. And Christine, you help run and lead a nonprofit as well as a for-profit, but it's all about training veterans and training students in SAP. And then there's other areas of IT that you guys also do work in, but certainly you have a very interesting background with SAP, even in your earlier career before you got involved. But tell us a little bit about career skills to work, and then also kind of a little bit about how it interconnects with St. Michael's Learning Academy.
Thank you so much, Jeremy, for having me today. Really appreciate the giving me the spotlight today to bring more attention to what we're doing in the nonprofit space. And for the last 10 years, what we've been doing in helping service members transition into the SAP ecosystem. Well, St. Michael's Learning Academy is the education and operational arm of the SAP Veterans to Work program for the nation. It's a great public-private partnership that we started with SAP and DoD almost 10 years ago, in helping transition service members in their last 180 days. Their duty station becomes our classroom where they're learning SAP functional business processes, getting certified and S/4HANA, and then helping them land safely as they transition into an SAP career. Well, really soon, we realized that in order to stay true as an academic institution and continue keeping up with the change within SAP, all emerging products and trends, and staying up to date, we wanted to have a separate arm and create a nonprofit that will not just help military, but anyone in transition that is trying to figure out what next for them, where they get a chance to kind of test drive a career and experience it before they have jumping into a specific career or learning path or occupation or degree plan. So it could be where career skills to work helps with helping them find that through self and career exploration for college students, high school students, spouses, veterans. Or it could be where we focus specifically on workforce development from upskilling if they're already employed. Maybe they may be underemployed or maybe wanting to jump into an IT tech career. And then lastly, it could be for a college student or a veteran that wants to enter the workplace, but they may not be able to have a chance to really see if that's for them, or they're not getting that first job, landing that first job because they may not have experience. And that's where they need a little bit more hand-holding, helping them tailor their resume to a job, mock interview skills, or apprenticeships or internships. So it really encompasses those three pillars, and that's what Career Skills to Work in its nonprofit. It's board at large. All are comprised of people in that industry that also have the same and share the same heart mission of wanting to give back to those individuals and helping them find their next path or upskill as they continue being lifelong learners.
I love that. Look, one of the things I want everyone watching this video to think about is please like and share this video and tag people that you know that are currently veterans, or that were very recently veterans that have now left the military and now they're looking for what's that next chapter of my life look like. They may or may not be the right fit for Career Skills to Work, but they might be. And we don't know. Sometimes these folks don't know necessarily, what am I going to do? And this area of SAP, just so that everyone knows, and I'm biased because I own an SAP focused search firm, but these are high demand skills that are in low supply. And anyone that knows about supply and demand, when you're in high demand, that means you can find jobs. That's great. We want to get a skill that is in demand. And then the other thing is, if it's a high demand job that has fairly low supply, it means I can make a great living for my family, right? That I can get a job, but that I can make a great living, that there's options for me to grow an entire career until I decide to finally retire. The thing I love about SAP is that almost no matter what you're strong at, it could overlap with SAP in some way. So if someone, to your point, Christine, if they're strong in finance and accounting and they're a numbers person, they could get into SAP FICO. And it kind of is an IT job, but they could be stronger in finance and accounting and have a CPA or have a degree, an undergrad degree in finance and accounting. Those kind of folks wind up in SAP all the time. But let's say that they're not FICO, that they're more into HR, or that they were a recruiter for the military. Let's say that they were in supply chain or purchasing or procurement or working in a warehouse and thinking about the movement of goods. No matter what their job was in the military, it could possibly cross over and give them a pathway in SAP. So that's why I love it. It's so broad scoping. So I'm going to share really quickly the screen so that you guys can see what this website looks like, to make sure you get to the right location if you decide to go and kind of check out Career Skills to Work. This is the website, Career Skills, the number 2, work.org. And when you land, it'll look like this, and you'll see this great logo at the top. And, you can see right here that it's for veterans as well as other types of students. It's not only for veterans, but obviously that's what we're kind of focusing on a little bit today. And then if you scroll down, you're going to see some other logos. Like right here, you're going to see SMLA. That's the St. Michael's Learning Academy. And, you can kind of get into that website if you want to see a little more about what St. Michael's Learning Academy is doing. So share with me, what's the cost? How many classes per year? What's the length of this kind of a program? And maybe even also, what kind of support are you guys offering the veterans after they've finished this program to get ready now to go look for a job, to interview, to get that resume ready, to help them find that job?
That's a really great question. Whenever, people ask me, well, what do you do for a living? I'm like, okay, well, I don't usually, come out of, and I'm a CEO. I help service members and veterans find their next career in IT and, or within the business world. So one of the things we started doing with Career Skills to Work is really using it as a career and self-exploration piece before they pay money to start a tuition or to start class or to jump into an SAP career. We want to make sure that it's the right fit for them. So Career Skills to Work will help them test drive the career. How do we do that? Well, we have great partnerships like with IBM. IBM has donated their Skill Build platform, which is what most IBMers use to upskill within their global company. They've donated that to Career Skills to Work to allow individuals to test drive certain careers, to upskill, or to just do a deeper dive into an existing profession or SMEs if they are, and just keep up with latest technology and trends. So before they jump into paying for tuition through St. Michael's or Meridian or university, they have a chance now to really hone in. Well, somebody told me AI is great, or I'm good at really coding. Let me see if this is for me. So it can be the Career Skills to Work will help them from that piece. Once they know now what they want to do or they want to upskill, that's where the workforce development and job assistance comes in. For military specifically, the first and most important task is helping them demilitarize their resume. Having them understand, and this can also be a huge challenge for veterans, not really understanding the value that they bring and not seeing that specific military training they took can actually transition to a skill that is so needed in corporate America and is not something that can be trained very well in. For example, change management. When a service member gets called to duty or new deployment, they don't push back. They've got to go. That in IT, there's so much change going on constantly. They don't push back. They adapt. They're very flexible and they get it done. Earlier, you talked about, I think, the skills that veterans bring, one of which can be and is so underappreciated is their leadership skills. That is so needed, especially in the field of SAP and project management and all of these digital transformations that are happening across SAP businesses around the world. You're needing people with great leadership skills to bring multiple different talents of teams together and be able to work so that they can meet that deadline and that transformation. So these are just things that Career Skills to Work can really can bring to veterans, can bring meeting some of the challenges that they face, and can help them with landing that next job. Talking a little bit now about answering your question, the second part is the cost of the program and the length and the duration. Once they know for sure this is what they're wanting to get into.
Real quick, you said once they know for sure.
Yeah.
You guys are even offering some almost like introductory free coursework that they can even evaluate and take those courses before they make that decision to spend that money towards this. Is that correct also?
Yeah, that's what Career Skills to Work is doing. It's that self and career exploratory phase. So if we get a service member that reaches out to one of our career transition specialists or reaches out to the nonprofit, we then give them access to that learning journey where they'll have entry level, high level overview of SAP terminology, how to navigate, and it will be kind of mixed in with some AI, some agile, but that gives them an understanding of what the system looks like and what they would be doing. What is a career in SAP? So once they've done that and they know for sure this is something that they're willing to make an investment, and it's not just an investment with either a scholarship or GI Bill or their funds, self-pay, it's also a huge investment in time. But there is a return on that investment much greater than the time and the funds that they put into it. And as you had alluded to earlier, SAP is very industry agnostic. And with service members that have multiple different military occupations, we really wanted to offer them a training certification within SAP that no matter where their skills and their passion purpose align or their military experience, they would land successfully into a sector of SAP that they can really thrive where their highest and best is. So the courses are typically, if this is their active duty station, and this is specifically around our military line of business, they are working in the class as their duty station for 10 weeks, 8 hours a day for 10 weeks. Every day
it's their job for that amount of time. Yeah.
It's their job for that amount of time. And that's equivalent to about 2.5 years of college. It's 332 contact hours. And so they're really having a lot of time where they're getting to test out the theory and apply it with real life business case scenarios and applications. And every week we have VIP employers and past students from our alum that are working in successful careers that are coming back and telling them how they transitioned into an SAP career successfully and jobs that are at their company that are hiring. So I think that that's the length of time. The material that we are using comes from the SAP University Alliance. So even though we're at Tech Folk School, we're not a university. We have been given favor through our executive sponsor, Michael May. He is head of the marketing for South for SAP and selling their products to the ecosystem. And they have allowed us to use the SAP University Alliance content as well as the most current tenant for S/4HANA. So every 6 months, as that curriculum updates and changes, as things are in the cloud and AI does, our students are getting the latest, the greatest from zero to hero, front end to back end, ECC to S/4HANA knowledge. And it's very encompassing and giving them a strong formal education with a certification that is really augmenting not only the classroom experience, but their military experience using SAP as well.
I love in the short amount of time that you guys already have these alliances and partnerships directly with SAP, directly with IBM. And I presume, are there also major corporations or major SAP consulting firms that are already starting to get involved to whether it's to offer a paid internship or whether it's to offer interviewing exercises at the end of the program or even to possibly hire the students?
That's a great question. We do have a few, and I'm hoping through vessels and interviews like this and podcasts that we can have more brand awareness to what our mission is and get more companies involved. But right now, I will be honest, those that are willing to put the skin on the game are usually have some veteran or military affiliation in their leadership because they already understand the value. Currently, we are working with a company called C5MI, whose leadership is military, and understand the value not just of a veteran, but what SAP can bring. You're putting these two superpowers, a veteran as well as SAP, together, and it's dynamite of what it can do to scale a company and make that company really stand out from others. We're in as you know, looking for that talent, and the best talent is what's going to really separate one company from another. So having that superpower of having a veteran on your team that also understands business processes and is so dynamic and can share those leadership skills are huge. And C5MI gets that. We've also had companies like Accenture Federal, even IBM itself, their public sector, they're doing a lot of business in the unregulated industries, and they understand the value of a veteran and the secret clearance that they bring, especially within the IT sector. And they have hired, they've put their money where their mouth is, and saying not that they're just a, friendly GI or veteran friendly company, but they have hired. It's just that we are looking for more companies because we have classes every quarter at different bases. And as soldiers and service members and different branches are transitioning out, we are looking for more companies to partner with us in helping them land safely into these careers. I want to say almost 20 to 30% of them, they land very safely with the opportunities that are presented through our relationships with SAP, with ASUG, the America SAP User Group, and employer partners that we have with HR that have also hired before. But there are that percentage that are almost at the finish line and they need a little bit extra. Kind of like locum tenens, temp to perm in your language, Jeremy. And we're hoping that with registered apprenticeships and more internships that Career Skills can really focus on, as that is more their mission than St. Michael's. We want to be their training arm. We're hoping that those tested and tried best practices that have always existed, they've existed more on the trades and the more blue collar jobs, but the formula and the blueprint is right on, and helping those service members that are almost there at the finish line get to showcase those leadership skills and that SAP knowledge that they've received both in the classroom and on the military.
Yeah. Hey, I want to put a call to action for those listening right now. I mean, when you are a veteran or a veteran that's currently in the military or very recently, maybe they exited, please tag them, share this video with them, tell them about Career Skills to Work and St. Michael's Learning Academy. And if you're a hiring authority, if you are a corporation that might want to get involved, we are looking for more partners. And what that looks like to partner with St. Michael's Learning Academy and with Career Skills to Work, it might just mean that one or two of your hiring authorities wants to give a little bit of time to help with interviewing, mock interviews. It could be that you want to offer paid internships, or that you want to have access to talent coming out with actual SAP training. It could be that you're someone in talent acquisition or HR at a company like that, but it could be that you're an IT executive or a leader or an SAP director. The call to action is, if you are interested to in some way, somehow partner with or help out in our endeavor, share your, you can reach out to me directly, Jeremy at asaptalentservices.com. You can reach out to Christine directly. You can even, in the thread of the social media, you can just say, I'm interested to help and partner. And one of us will get back with you and try to schedule a one-on-one with you. I think that's awesome. Christine, would you like to share your contact info in any way?
Definitely. It's first initial of my name, C Aboud, ABOUD, at mysmla.com. And just to kind of expand on what you're saying, there are multiple ways in which you can give back in the call of action. You might be a little bit timid, like, oh, we don't have any jobs right now, we're not hiring, or we're in an implementation right now. It can be as little as coming in and just talking about how you started in an SAP career, even being a veteran or not a veteran, just as somebody who kind of maybe landed in it haphazardly, or by accident, or you really wanted to get in, and who was there to help you start your first job. that motivation story is exactly what a service member needs to hear. Is they're going through a grueling 10-week course and hearing from somebody reaching out from the civilian world saying, hey, yeah, I care about where you land, and let me share my story with you to help you know that it is possible for that the choice you made to choose SAP as your next career is very highly lucrative. It'll afford you the same type of career that SAP does. The more you're in it, the more knowledgeable, the higher your salary can be. The more you learn, the more you earn. And if not, if you don't like public speaking and don't want to come speak to them, you can interview, be part of our mock interview panel. You can also connect us with maybe a veteran ERG group that you have at your company, and they love giving back, and they're looking for ways to connect specifically to this mission and to this population. So there's so many different ways in which you can help.
I love that. Let's kind of finish with a few stats. I place SAP folks, usually that already have a lot of experience, but I also am aware of compensation and salary because we work with big corporations all over the country. ASAP Talent does. We work with talent acquisition and we place these SAP jobs, but we also see their career track and where they can be 10 years later, 15 years later. And you know what we see in the entry level market, folks coming right out of college into IBM, Deloitte, Accenture, into a corporation, entry level are usually around 70 to 85 grand nowadays with full benefits. But that's entry level. Like really quickly, SAP folks can climb to 100 to 120. The majority of the people that we see that have 4 to 7 years of SAP experience at a company, almost all of them are 110 to 125, 125,000 salary plus bonus plus full benefits. And really quickly, we see people that rise up. I love the story of C5MI that you were talking about earlier. Their founder was a naval officer, right? His name's Don. And, you know, his first civilian job was with Caterpillar, one of the largest SAP shops in North America. And because of that leadership that he had in the military, he quickly, you know, became like the global head of enterprise apps for Caterpillar. He was, you know, over from a leadership standpoint, hundreds and hundreds of people, and you know, over 400 million in IT spend per year. You know, that background as an officer in the military showed Caterpillar, you know, because he didn't start out there. He quickly rose up through the ranks. Mm-hmm. He had something, and that's something that he had in a lot of ways was built in his role as a naval officer. So that is a great success story. And then ultimately started his own company. And, you know, Don, just that whole story just shows veterans, wow, that's what you could do after you leave the military. So that's absolutely outstanding. We see people that rise up to careers where they can make 150 to 250 to 300K plus. These companies like Raytheon and Lockheed Martin and Boeing and you know, any of these are private sector aerospace and defense companies that are ITAR regulated. They put a real value on hiring veterans, and they're regulated, so they kind of have to hire, you know, U.S. citizens sometimes. And there are roles in SAP, to your point, Christine, at the DoD, the DOJ, the U.S. Postal Service, the USDA, the FEMA, these federal programs. They put a value on hiring veterans. And some of those roles even require top secret clearances. Folks coming out of the military might have a really good path to obtain that, whereas not everyone does. And so these are some things to think about if you yourself are a veteran, or if you have some, you know, people that you know in your family or in your friend network that are veterans. Please share this video with them. Tag them in the video. Veterans Day is coming up. This is one of those things where they may not have known about this, and it could be that magic moment where the right thing lands in their lap that's absolutely perfect for them, that opens up the right doors for them as they leave the military. Christine and I are talking about possibly some future podcasts with actual students or former students that now went into the market, maybe even partners or companies that are working with this program. So stay tuned for future podcasts on a similar subject. Christine, anything else to kind of leave us with as we wrap up today?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you again and echo everything you just said. I think that your question was, stats about what are we doing, how are we doing. It's been 10 years. So in the last 10 years, we've helped over 1,000 service members from different branches transition into SAP jobs, and our placement rate, our completion rate is almost at 100%. Like when we get somebody in, they don't leave. Very rarely do we have a drop, and it's mainly because of a life change where they're called back to their duty station, which sometimes happens. But our placement rate fluctuates severely because you have service members that are coming out, and some of them want a break. They're not ready to go right back into the work environment. Some of them want to actually go back to school, which is mainly some of the main reason they chose to even serve our government, serve the military. They wanted those education benefits to serve their country and also pay for college. And we do have quite a lot that have gone to work through us and also gone back to school at the same time. So our stats fluctuate between like 72, 75% to 80 to 85%, depending on the time of the year. It takes a good 6 months during their transition period. And finding an SAP job, because of its lucrative, beginner, intermediate, and advanced salary, it takes several interviews. It's not just one interview. You're going through, HR, then you're going through the SAP department and the IT department. So it takes a long time before they land that job. But the success and the wait and the persistency and the return on investment really outweighs that. I just want to say again, thank you for everyone who's listening. Please go to our website if you want to learn more, if you want to volunteer, or you may have a neighbor that's a veteran. Veterans Day is coming up, a past teacher, a colleague. Send them this link and let them know how they can continue giving back and being a service member for life, and even upskilling if they need to, or volunteering. So thank you guys for tuning in and listening. And thank you so much, Jeremy, at SAP Talent for having us.
I love that. And, you guys don't forget that after the training is, coming to a completion, they're really working with you to help you find that job, to get ready for your resume, to get ready for interviews. They're working with you all the way to see you land. And so this is a program we're taking a very strong look at, whether you are still in the military or whether you left a year or two ago, whether you're at a major university already, but you still haven't fully figured out, what am I going to do next? This is something to take a strong look at. So we really appreciate it. And, share and like the video, tag a veteran, and happy Veterans Day. Thank you all.
Thank you.